The end is upon us, it seems, as we enter our final battles of the series, quite literally, because at this point we have a Persona level 72 and weak to physical. This weakness countered through an absorbed physical skill card that I had exchanged while leveling to 99. Our team fully built and ready to take on the final dungeon of this game and find the truth behind it all. But just before we begin with talking about the video itself, it leads me to the 29 plus 1 deaths you'll be seeing in the corner of your screen. The plus 1 is a joke death that happens from eating food in game. That is like a moment on screen that it shows you. So I was joking with a friend and went, hey, do I include this? Do I not? So they eventually decided, yes, I should include it, and that's why there is a plus one death there. So let's get right into this. Okay, so where do we begin? Well, I guess that should be the beginning of the dungeon. At this point I did take quite a few battles to see how strong I was and realised my leveling to 99 was a great addition to my strategy of this dungeon. Going into the first mid-boss, because nothing really eventful happened at that point, I did have some concerns, however, from it, because I know the boss can be quite powerful despite its skill range. And yeah, I was wrong to assume this, because, well, I had the best accessories on my team and their best weapons. Of course, this is except for Teddy, who only got a 40% ice damage boost accessory, which was still surprisingly helpful in this and the boss fight. But the mid-boss itself is hit for 450% more damage from elemental attacks, something I unknowingly prepared for and spammed it. Yeah, I got the tier 2 multi-hitting fire move Miragion as a skill card while leveling up, and I decided to use that as my elemental damage because I had nothing else that I could afford or wanted to afford, because I'd already prepared exactly what I needed, not thinking about skills for that boss, so I just went with what I had, which surprisingly worked well. In between the second mid-boss and the one we had just come from, nothing really happened. I was mostly avoiding enemies, because there was no need to fight them, as I had nothing to gain. Sure, my persona could have gained a few levels, but it really wouldn't have mattered in the end. So I just left things as they were. So, onto the mid-boss, or second mid-boss I should say then, which was a returning enemy from Persona 3, the Sleeping Table. It has fire moves, something we weren't weak to for once. Definitely would have been a problem if we had the Persona from the last dungeon and this one swapped around, because, actually wait, no, that one does gain Repel Fire as a skill, so never mind, that wouldn't have been an issue, no matter what. But hey, we weren't weak to it for once, which is great. Light skills, almighty skills, and then the Fear plus Ghastly Wail combo. The boss, however, wasn't much of a threat because I could kill it before anything too bad happened, which was great. But even then, had I still gone down in that fight, I had the Rebirth Prophecy accessory, something that would revive me at full HP upon death, something which wouldn't increase the counter because it did not cause the game over screen to show, which is what I count as a death in this run. So now we're on to the final thing, Izanami, the final boss, the one behind all the powers, and now we must veer to save the truth. This boss can do many things, but our strategy is the same as always. Power and mind charge plus physical and almighty skills, with Teddy and the protagonist dealing damage, providing buffs and healing. This is a boss fight that is really annoying, because it has a variety of elemental magic attacks, a lot of almighty skills that it uses across both of its phases, and moves that can do things like fear, poison, I think some of the other status ailments too. Really, really annoying thing if you get hit with them, because you either won't be able to use your persona, take damage, won't even be able to attack entirely, and other things. You know, really, really fun things. But hey, once we get it to its 0 HP, it's a bit weird. Nothing really happens. It just won't die. So why is that? Well, we need to use the item we had been given before even starting here, the Orb of Sight, which would reveal its second form to us. Yeah, really fun. The second form then gains tons more almighty skills that it uses, including ones that can insta-kill you under certain conditions, like getting the boss to 0 health, or close to that, I don't really know. But it will start killing off your teammates one by one, and then go for you. And this will hit you, and it will indeed do something. But just as all seems lost, we hear the voices of those who we had impacted on our journey before finally awakening to our lost persona, Izanagi no Okami, and with the power of myriad truths, we end the fight. With all questions answered and the truth finally found, I can finally say one thing. Yes, it is possible to beat Persona 4 Golden's true ending with randomly selected personas, but before I can end the series for the final time, I'd like to thank you all for watching me suffer through this game, at its hardest, with inconsistent weaknesses, minus fire, which I realised that most of my deaths weren't even caused through being hit for a weakness, but through my own stupidity or a move combination I couldn't have prepared for in time. Because with most of these, it's I don't have anything that can boost my defense, it hits me for one big attack, another shadow buffs 2 of the same thing, and then that other one uses a move which will kill me, usually being the same move which the other had just used. Even better if it's not a weakness, but in fact a resistance. But hey, this series has taken up a lot of my time over the last month, and I think it's nice to look at the last 40 hours of gameplay and see where I've come from and where I am now, in both gameplay and video making skills. But with that said, for the final time, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.